What's going on, world? If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. What's up, world? Isaiah here from Making It Make Sense with Isaiah, Jasper, and Theo. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify with new episodes every Friday. We also want to hear from you between episodes, so follow our Instagram at Making It Make Sense IJT or email us at makingitmakesensewithijt@gmail.com. Now listen up and let's make all the sense. What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to Making It Make Sense with Isaiah, Jasper, and Theo. What's going on, guys?
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
And today we're going to talk about our high school experiences.
Or high school.
Talk about who we were then.
Yes, High School Musical. Woohoo!
You love that movie. My husband loves High School Musical too. I've never seen it.
Somebody know it too.
I don't.
You've never seen it either?
I've never seen it. No, I think I was too old by that time. I phased out of Disney by then.
Yeah, it was like I kind of just, I'd heard of it and so I was like, oh, that looks fun, but I just never got into it.
Mm-hmm.
But Jasper is the baby of us, so
Yes, the golden era of Disney. Yes. I'm the baby.
So you have a earlier recollection of high school. So how was your high school experience?
Who, me?
Yes, Jasper.
You're closer to high school than we are.
I guess my high school experience was really, I can say I enjoyed high school. For the most part, I enjoyed my 4 years of high school. Not to get too in depth in it yet, but I can say my high school experience was a mix. I enjoyed it. I had fun. I had fun for the most part. I can say it was fun. With twists and turns as high school years are.
That's very vague, but okay.
Just we didn't get into it yet. I'm giving this a surface. We always do those.
No, get right into it. We got 35 fucking minutes, bitch.
Oh, okay. Well, damn.
So let's go again. So Jasper, what is your high school experience since you're closer to your high school experience than us?
It was I had a great high school experience for the most part. I enjoyed my high school experience for the most part. Of course, there were twists and turns through my 4 years of high school. I experienced, I guess you say bullying, because I don't like to look at it as bullying, but bullying in a sense, because I was very, very, very like reserved, very quiet to myself. Through my high school years, I was always just, to myself a lot. So, the upperclassmen would always, seize the opportunity to try to pick at me, and because they assumed because I was quiet to myself, oh, he's weak, he's a punk, he's not gonna say anything. We can call him fags and gay, and throw hurl insults at him, and he's not gonna say anything. He's gonna just sit there and cry and run, tell the principal, whatever. So I experienced a lot of that. Which is like the dark side of my high school years. I experienced a lot of that, a lot of that. But fortunately for me, I wasn't a scoring high schooler. I was a good size for my high school year. So I didn't deal with that a lot because I always got them off of me. I always, was able to fight my battles, verbally, because I never had a physical fight in high school because no one took it there because they weren't crazy enough to take it to that level. So I was verbal, and so I was able to really defend myself, really get them off of me, and and they, once they seen that I wasn't just gonna let them just disrespect me, uh, those years changed, and by the time I finished high school, I didn't have the issue, the problems anymore. It was more of like, because I became like the upperclassman, so you know I didn't have to deal with it anymore. So my journey in high school was it was a wild ride. I definitely had a reputation leaving high school. I was definitely known as uh, uh, the pop off king. I was the pop off, like anybody can
Pop
get it.
off,
But I was
bitch.
known,
Pop
yes,
off.
pop off and class clown, because I was just funny, naturally funny. So I would just hear everybody in my classes, and who were classes with me, laughing and cracking up. Of course, I irritated my teachers, and when we had classes, I was known for that too, because I didn't mind getting my teachers together if they tried it. So I had a good. I think that's where the King of Shade kind of was born. Without me knowing it in those moments, I kind of the beginning stages of that persona that I created for myself. So yeah, man, high school.
So it's like that was kind of like the little twinkle in the eye of King of Shade. Like that's how it kind of began in that sense.
Speak up louder.
Oh, me or me?
No, Isaiah.
Oh yeah, but yeah, that was the beginning stages of that persona. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, high school. High school to me was so. High school was so fun because for me, high school every day. When I was in 8th grade, I had really bad acne. I wasn't that good looking. I was very awkward, didn't speak English very well, whatever. And I had to take an exam to get out of ESL. And I knew that I was going to high school. So for some reason, dressed something drastic happened. Like junior high school finished, and then in the summertime, my skin started clearing up. I used to have severe acne. My skin started clearing up, and I was starting to feel handsome. And I wanted to have a good high school experience. High school for me every day was a fashion show. High school for me every day was fun. I I was the upperclassman, and I didn't know I was the upperclassman. And the minute they told me that, I became the devil himself.
Oh wow.
I was an entitled black kid, and I didn't know that I was an entitled black kid. And I lived in that privilege, and I was wearing. I used to come to school with a fucking fur coat.
Oh yeah, you were very entitled.
Okay, and I didn't even know. And I used to come to school with. I used to go by. There were these things. Well, me and my best friend went to Lower Manhattan. That's Soho, and we bought these things called Royal Elastics, and we were trendsetters in the school. And then when we bumped into Royal Elastics, we bumped into the Gucci and the Louis Vuitton store, not knowing that it was Gucci and Louis Vuitton. And we were go there with our parents' money, with our parents' credit cards, and we were little high schoolers wearing Gucci, wearing Louis Vuitton, wearing shit that we had no business wearing. And it would just be like as simple as wearing a white t-shirt for us because we didn't know. And school was so much fun. Like I had
So Gossip Girl.
very
Gossip
New York,
Girl.
very Gossip Girl.
So Gossip Girl.
And I didn't know. I mean, sometimes we will do we will copy fashion, and then people will make fun of us, try to make fun of us. And then a couple of weeks later, people will be doing it. I remember I was the first person in my school to wear a jersey with a white t-shirt underneath with skinny jeans. And there were these Diesel shoes. You guys remember Diesel?
Yeah, of course.
Diesel used to be very popular.
I'm not that old, so I don't know.
What he doing? What he wearing? A couple of weeks later, all the boys in school were wearing that outfit. So that was high school. High school was so much fun. Like I enjoyed high school, and I was a little bit of a bully in high school. I was very, and I was a little disrespectful to my teachers in high school. I was very like, I was very oppositional. I was very
Oh
entitled.
no.
I always won. I always.
He goes, no, never.
I was.
Never.
I was very oppositional. I was very like, I have something to say, and I said it. And I joined the debate team. I was in acting. I was doing acting classes. I was going to auditions in high school. I was doing. It was so like high school was so much fun, and and I'm sure I did miss. I made some mistakes, and I was not really that nice to a lot of people, and I don't regret that. I don't apologize for that because 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old Theo had to learn, and unfortunately, sometimes maybe I had to hurt some feelings to understand that that's not who you need to be in the world and exist in the world. And even with all of those things, I was a very insecure kid. I was wearing the fur coat, or I was wearing the designer shoes and the designer clothes because I was very insecure. I knew those things made me popular. I knew that those things had me in with the in crowd. And like me now at 36, I will never do that because I've reached a certain level of enlightenment. But I appreciate this kid you see right here in this picture. How about you, Isaiah?
Oh God, geez. A lot of the things that you just said kind of like spoke to me about like just even in regards to like entitlement. Like I don't think I realized, like, as I look back now, I don't think I realized, like, I had it really good. But you know how, like, everything, like, if something happens, like, or whatever, like, when Jasper was saying, like, high school is not without its issues or without its
Yeah.
drama, like that. You know what I mean? So I'd like to kind of merge those two journeys together and bring you this. So I kind of I did a little bit of everything in high school. So I did a little soccer. I did a little, we had a sailing team in 10th grade or 10th grade. Was it 10th grade or I think it was 10th grade or junior year. So I tried out for that, which I had never I'm talking, where you pull the and you have to tie your knots and all that stuff. And I had never done
Wow.
that. Was a super new experience, which was actually, so that team was led by our photography teacher, which I actually took his photography class senior year. I did yearbook senior year. I tried to kind of just dip my toe in everything. I did a little like theater. So I didn't do like serious acting, like or whatever, but I just kind of tried to dip around in everything. One of the things I'm going to call out about myself from high school is I think a lot of the mean behavior started, which I'm going to call it mean girl behavior, even though I'm a male or identify as such. But a lot of that began because of keeping up with the Joneses.
Mm.
So I feel very much like I was trying to figure myself out. And also I was trying to figure myself out and not come out, right? So I think that I said, oh, okay, well, if I'm just like a little bitchy about things, and it's not gonna, I don't have to address this stuff. I don't have to talk about it. I think it could have been a little nicer to several people, if they ever hear.
Oh well.
Here, I think I'm gonna bring a different take to what you said. Like I think I needed to maybe be a little mean so that I ended up in a place of realization.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, I feel like if I had at the time been a little bit more true to myself, that at my core, like I was a nicer person and I didn't really want to be hurtful to people, and that I really just wanted to get along with everyone, which I generally did get along with most people. One of the things I think that I took from high school is I had a lot of fun too. Like even though there were like moments where there was drama or you know, like I wasn't that nice or I hurt people's feelings. And the thing is, like, I remember instances like specifically, like to this day, of feelings that I hurt or things that I did. I actually received, and this just stood out to me because this girl and I were really close in high school. And when I think I was like 24, 25, and she messaged me, and if she hears this, she's going to know who it is. And I appreciate her for that. But she messaged me, and I think it was really in reference to something. It started maybe in high school, the dynamics, and then it kind of happened a little bit after. But she messaged me on Facebook, and she apologized to me for, if she said, if I've ever been rude or mean to you at all. And the funny thing is, I didn't recollect her ever having been rude or mean to me. I just thought she was quirky. But yeah, I don't ever recollect her having been rude or mean to me or anything like that. But I took, the apology. And one of the things I didn't do, actually, come to think of it, is I don't think I ever went back to her and went, "What are you referring to?" But all I kind of took that for is, I took that and I just went, you know what? There's a lot of things that, especially with little dramas in high school, and there's things that you or the other or whoever yourself, you may not even have known that you slighted someone, or someone may have made a comment behind your back or things like that. And they might just be going, "I'm sorry for the things that I said that you didn't know about." So I just took it as that.
That's what you thought it was?
I thought it might have been, maybe. I mean, because I couldn't, I never felt like she was like outright like nasty or mean. I never thought of her that way. I never perceived her that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just interesting for her to message me that. And I was like, "Well, thank you. You're really sweet." She's like, "You look like you're enjoying your life, and that's beautiful." And the other thing I want to say about high school is, I think a lot of people, there are definitely people that, and for various reasons, that hold on to certain things, like hold on to certain experiences. And again, sometimes for good reason, depending on what it was or what it pertained to. However, like, I know people that have run into, I was actually going to reference like a specific story, but I don't want to put their stuff out there, right? But like, specifically, an instance where two people ran into each other, and I was there, and one of them was like, "Hey, how are you?" and gave like a big hug, and the other person was just like still like held it from the bad experience they had together. It was like, "How are you? How are things?" or whatever. And it was just kind of like, okay, well, you guys move on, like move forward, like, and I told this friend that, I said, "Move forward. It's okay. Like, you might not get an apology from them about their behavior or what happened to them in high school, or what happened with you and them in high school, but they're embracing you now. And you don't have to receive it. Like, you're not required to receive things from people that hurt you in high school. So if somebody bullied you in high school, in Jasper, because you had mentioned this earlier, like, I sure wouldn't. I probably would not. I don't know.
I'd be like, "Hi."
Yeah, you might do, pull out the, you know what I mean? Like, so, but it's like, I guess you don't really know how you're going to react. You know what I mean?
But what you're talking about, that's a different level. Like, if you bullied me and caused me emotional and physical harm, that's a little different. But
right.
there are people like, "Oh no, you were mean to me in high school." Yes, bitch. Children are mean to each other, and we tend to like be better and and not be mean adults. Stuff like that, like, "Oh, you were being catty to me in high school." Yes, asshole. That is what happens. But if you're an asshole as an adult, that's the problem, and that's problematic. Like, we shouldn't be holding on to things that happen in the sandbox or in the playground. Those are experiences that we, within reason. I'm not talking about, they cause someone psychological and physical harm. That please don't ever forget, and protect your future children, your nieces and nephews from that. But stuff that isn't penetrable. That I was a very mean teenager. And I was mean because not because I was gay and trying to hide it, unlike you. I was very open and been out since I was 16. I was just a mean motherfucker because I was insecure. And if you try to come now at 36 and talk to me and tell me, oh, hey, Theo, you diss me or you read me and that really hurt my feelings, I'm going to tell you, go fuck yourself and get out my face. I don't got time for that. Like, you should have resolved the fact that somebody read you in high school with your therapist. And don't try to hold me accountable for some shit I did as a child that I probably don't even fucking remember.
Now, could I interject there really quick? Now, I will say, now, while I wouldn't come at somebody and go like 20 years later and say that, I also don't want to condone just because you're a child that if you still are being an asshole, you're being an asshole. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can be a kid, but if you're being an asshole, like you just are, but don't.
No, kids are rude. I was a rude child.
Like,
a child being rude and an adult being rude are two totally different things. Developmentally, I was not seeing the word. I knew the world in that way. I didn't understand the importance of words. I didn't understand being compassionate. I didn't understand, treating others the way you wanted to be treated. So those things that I was doing as a child were coming from ignorance. Mm-hmm. So to hold someone accountable, once again, those are teachable moments. We learn from that. Now, if I was a child and I was walking around stabbing people and physically harming people or cutting people's hair and doing, some bizarre shit like that some people, I have seen some people do in high school and be like, that's going to be a future serial killer. That's different.
Now, I'm glad you bring that up because there are a couple of instances where now, not in my 30s, I'm not having that discussion, but if we're like a few years out of high school and we run into each other and it's a conversation, I'm receiving it because for me, and that was just for me, I had to receive some shit because there were some not like what's the word I want to say? It wasn't like I like ruined your life.
You were mean, Isaiah.
but little things that set with people because there's stuff that sits with people that yes, you have to be checked for. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially
within reason. Like I like what you said. A couple of years out of high school. Not at 34 and 35.
Not at 30. Now, if you say that to me at 30, I'm going to go, that was a totally different person. You have to talk to him.
That's what I'm saying.
Who's meeting people that they went to school with 10, 20 years ago? Because I haven't seen anybody went to school within the last 10 years. So who's meeting someone that they haven't seen in 20 years and they're going to have a conversation about
they can research you now and reach out to you.
I'm saying, like, who's going to, like, realistically, like, who does that? Like, 20, 30 years ago, you're gonna reach out to me via Facebook or whatever.
I do.
Hey,
I still
literally get this to me. Like,
I bumped into someone who I went to high school with, and they're a security guard, over at an H&M that I had gone to, and I was like, hey. And we're both 36. And if that person would have brought that up, I would have karate chopped him right there. Right in the throat. Leave me alone. That would have been weird
to bring it up now. If y'all almost 40 and you're gonna bring up something that happened 20 years ago.
But Jasper, some people hold on
to
that.
People like that.
I've never experienced that, so I'm glad I've never experienced it. I don't hold to anything.
Someone who bullied you right now, and if they would have come to say, "Hey, Jasper, I know that I bullied you way back when," and blah 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 blah, would you entertain that conversation?
No, I've been like, okay, it was like by the time ago, you're older, I'm older. I didn't hold on to it. It was what it was. I cussed your ass out, and you knew to leave me alone, and we moved past it. So
yeah, do you want to bully me now? Is the point?
Yeah, do you want to now? But that's 10 plus 10, almost 20 years ago. So no, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't even like, okay, please, bye, leave me alone.
I remember I was with my best friend one time, and we were out eating at this nice vegan restaurant over in Chelsea. here in New York.
Love
And there was somebody that we go, oh, you still friends with Theo? He was so mean in high school. And he
Oh,
was
so
so,
you
and this
actually
was like,
had someone say that to you recently.
no, not say it to me. They wouldn't dare say it to me. They were saying it to my best friend. And the kind of best friend I had, that's my ride or die. And she was like, so you don't want to say hi to Theo because of something he did when we were 15, 16? Like, you do know that Theo's 30, right? And that's the kind of shit that I'm talking about. We have been conditioned to believe that we need to hold 15-year-old Theo accountable at 30 and 35 years old. Like, I didn't kill anybody. I killed your feelings.
But see, some people aren't capable of letting it go. Some people hold on to things longer than they should. So
They need to
some people
listen to
don't
Frozen and let it
process
go.
the
Let it go.
trauma of that moment where they feel like they take this trauma. You giving it in your mind as a teenager, as a child. You're not thinking that what I'm saying. Somebody's gonna actually hold onto it this long. Yes, we had our moment, but I'm not gonna expect you to hold on to it 20 years later. No, like, because I've heard people feelings in high school. I've said things to people that, I mean, things like I don't went in and made people cry. And if they ever came to me and said that from 10 plus years ago, that, hey, I don't like you because of this and that, I'm gonna roll my eyes, keep pushing, because like really, like we're not gonna do this for here. We're not gonna be something to talk about. You still mad? Why are you talking
But
to me? One,
there are some
and you still mad
people,
at me? Like, why talk to me? Either way.
there are some people that's the only place they've peaked. Have you heard of that? Peaking in high school?
Yeah.
So, and that's what I think about those people. People who have peaked only from junior high school and peaked only in high school. Those experiences are like just yesterday. Because from high
Yesterday.
school, from the high school to today, there's been so many beautiful and life fulfilling experiences that high school is just a blip in the bigger picture.
It is.
And that's what I think. Those kind of people, that is where they peaked at. Some people peaked at high school, and they ain't peaking at life right now.
That's so sad though, because I mean, it's just a chapter. I mean, don't get me wrong, like one of my best friends, like, and she was in my wedding. And shout out, girl, I love you, Derry. But like, but she was in my wedding and I met her in 10th grade. But like that's different because that friendship has carried throughout the years. Like
growth. It's called growth.
Growth. Kelly Prenny. But like growth, like we've literally met each other on every level of our lives and still been comparable in friendship, which is beautiful. And that doesn't happen a lot. Like I think a lot of people like don't realize like how rare that is, like to have like a true friend that you've had through the different levels, like that have seen you like, adolescent and hormonal and mean and still love you, that have seen you, go through breakups and all this different stuff and still love you.
Then find the love of your life.
Yeah, and and actually, so I introduced her to her husband and the father of their two kids.
Oh,
so,
wow.
like,
Yeah, Hallmark movie. Hallmark movie.
It was just great, like for us to, and then she, I was at her wedding, she was at my wedding. Like it was,
you grew together. That's growing.
That's
that
the
is.
stuff, like
that's beautiful.
It's
that is,
that's the stuff you
because like a lot of my high school peers I knew from middle school and knew from elementary. So I have friends like almost 20-year friendships that and we have a closeness to us, and and I never thought in my mind I would have friends that would be almost 20 years or going on 20 years. So I'm young, I'm a baby, so I never think I've known this person 20 years or going on 20 years of my life, and we still have a good friendship, and we still, like we never let stop, like life never stopped for us. Like we always see our connection is still there. Like we can talk today and I talk for months because I don't talk to them all the time, and we pick back up like we just left off. And I cherish that because like I said, my high school was like I said, was my band. I was in some, I was in choir, Spanish club. I did a lot of different
You were in Spanish club?
Spanish club. Yes, Spanish is my favorite language, and I love the
I took
culture of
Spanish from
Spanish.
kindergarten to fifth grade.
So that's
And
why
then
I fell in love with Selena, and found out who she was. I didn't know who she was until I was in middle school. So that's why I found my love of Selena and in the culture of Spanish and learning the history and learn that language. So I was on a lot of different
Oh,
activities in school and stuff. I did a lot of things. And I
I
enjoyed.
didn't know that. Beady beady bam bam.
Yes, so I had some amazing experiences, but in high school, but I also, like I said, I also like had my own moments of like being a bully myself. I can look at now as my age, like now looking back at just me doing this whole high school thing, I was a bully myself. In the moment of being a bully, I didn't think I was a bully, but now I'm like, yeah, I was a
No.
bully myself because I guess it kind of took on from being bullied, like I'm becoming the bully, and not realize like at the time I'm actually becoming the bully myself. So and so I look back at it now like I definitely grown
protecting
a lot.
yourself.
I have a lot of growth because I was definitely a wild. I definitely was a wild child. I definitely was unfiltered, like I to the 10th level. So I definitely have grown. I've seen the growth in myself. I count before I think, and I think before I say things, because I used to just say it and not think about, okay, I'm gonna hurt somebody's feelings, or it may come out the wrong way. So now I'm more conscious of things I say to people because I wasn't always like
Look at
like it.
feelings. What
Yeah.
are those?
Feelings, like I had to learn. People, we all have feelings. Like I've learned it about myself because I'm not a feelings person either. Like I'm guarded in my feelings and emotions. So I'm learning as I'm getting older. Like I have to uh, express those feelings because if I don't express them or acknowledge that they're there, it comes up like I'm cold because I've been that's been said before numerous times. I'm like, you come out very cold because you don't respond, you don't emote, you don't express yourself. You just kind of just lock everything down, and I'm always been that way because I don't trust people that easily just open up to people like that. I've always had to be like protect myself because as into my life, as y'all learn, we do more topics and stuff. Been through a lot in my life, so I've had to be this like protective, shielded
And
person.
people are weird.
Yeah, like Theo, and so I have to keep myself.
You
What?
hurt me.
You hurt me.
But yeah,
I have a question. What is one thing that 36-year-old Theo and 29-year-old Jasper and 35 next month year old Isaiah
Ooh, y'all get old.
would tell their high school? You
Go,
messy.
younging, youngling. What would you tell? What would 36-year-old me-year-old tell Theo? I will tell high school Theo, I think 17-year-old Theo, that you are enough. Because I've never, when I was a child, I never felt worthy or enough. So that's why I was very performative as a child, as a teenager. Very performative with my language, with performative with my style, performative with everything that I do because I felt unworthy. Not knowing that I was already worthy. I will just tell him, you are enough and you are worthy. Alexa, stop. I will tell him that you are enough and that you are worthy. What would you say, Jasper?
I'm gonna tell 17, 18-year-old Jasper to love himself, to know that it's okay to be yourself. You don't worry about what people are going to think about you. Just be who you are and own it and not shy away from who you really are. I would tell 18-year-old, 17-year-old Jasper that it's okay to it's okay to be vulnerable at times. It's okay to show that vulnerable side of you. You don't have to always be so hard and let people in, because it helps you build relationships, it helps you meet people, it helps you, break out of the shell. So I would tell myself then yeah, to be more open, to be more optimistic, to be more brave, and be fearless.
Yes, brave.
Yes,
Like we like to say. How about you, Isaiah?
I think the running theme for me, really, which I didn't go too much into, but I'm going to say this. I would tell teenage Isaiah that there is deep value in your blackness. You don't have to you don't have to suppress or lower your blackness so that the other people will like you.
This a deep. Okay, come on,
Ooh,
D.
Isaiah, god damn.
Yes.
Part 2. Damn.
Yeah, he went deep, 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 deep.
Yeah, I didn't emote that as much because it was layered, but yeah, I would have I also, and the other thing I want to add is I also would have told high school Isaiah that blackness is not a monolith. Being black, you don't have to be black a certain way to still love all about you that is black. Couple of
That's
That's
a good ending.
beautiful.
Yes. That's a good way to end this.
It is.
That was deep, my God.
Deep, 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 deep. And very dark.
Deep, dark, and black.
Yeah, black power.
Oh, Jasper.
Black power. Yes.
All right. Until next time, everybody.
Until next
Love,
time.
peace, and soul.
No!